is the government tying itself more and more into knots from saying that it's a non-issue when it first came up in Parliament, now trying to stonewall in the court, saying we won't file an affidavit, it's national security, and now there's going to be a Supreme Court committee. If the government's conscience was clean, they had not bought and used this software, invasive software against ordinary citizens, it could have just simply said that categorically and all this problem would not have taken place. So, is this actually an indication of bad faith, that the government somewhere is guilty of using the spyware, and to try to deflect attention from that or to deflect that question, answering that question, it's just tying itself into knots?
Not really. On the contrary, if you really look at from the very idea of forming a committee was proposed by the central government. What the central government said is that it is not in favor of filing a an affidavit in the court, which is because of a security matter. National security matter should not be a public domain, and it should not be a discussion on the television.
Anyway.
But the proposal of forming a committee was given by the central government. Yeah. But then, of course, the court has said that it will form a committee. It will not be required to form a committee.
My question was different. We know what has happened in court. My question is, why even propose committees and all of that, if indeed the centre has not used or misused this software to spy on its critics and other people? There is no need for a committee. The centre could just turn around and say, we have not bought and misused this software, end of story. The fact that it's trying to say committee one day, affidavit another day, as I said, indicates that somewhere along the line there is a possible guilty conscience.
It's the other way around. I think it's another way around. Whether what kind of a software or a hardware or what kind of a technology which for the national security a government is using should not be a matter of a public discussion. That should be limited.
But it's now going to be probed by a committee. That seems counterfactual.
So I think all those who have gone to the court, including Mr. M.K. Venu, who is a part of this panel, should be very happy that they all wanted to. We would like to see how many of those people who were affected with this so-called scam will be going to this proposed committee by the Supreme Court. We will be all.
So you're saying that they should be happy. You almost seem to be conceding this is a setback to the centre. But Supriya Shrinate, what do you make of this response that this is actually not bad faith or bad conscience by the centre? This is actually indicative that their conscience is clear, that they themselves are saying, let's have a committee.
No, first up, I want to very categorically state here, giving details is not compromising national security. What happened by installing a military-grade spyware in the phones of opponents, in the phones of constitutional figures, in the phones of women, associated with the Chief Justice of India, that is compromising national security and privacy to a very, very big extent. The government has been speaking in different languages. The former IT and telecom minister said something else. The new one says something else. The reality is the government has tied itself in knots. The reality also is that Official Secrets Act was breached in the country, which is again a violation of national security, and the country deserves to know the truth. We believe in the Congress, and I strongly am of the opinion that there should be a Supreme Court monitored probe. This technical committee is perhaps a part of what should be done.